Welcome back to the channel. Okay, going live, impromptu, y'all. I don't have time to be scheduling out stuff, right? Okay, so I'm jumping back in with a video. The other day, thank you, lovely. I appreciate. I shared a video how my children and I went from $25 a week groceries to making close to six figures, almost six figures, very close. And one of the comments was, how do you help your child? Hey now, how are you? How do you help your child reel in or rein in spending when they've already headed down that pathway? And so I thought, hey, let me just jump in and share with you guys. I had to get my coffee. Share with you guys what I do and did with all of my children as they prepared to leave my home. Now, again, some of you are new here and you haven't been following me for very, very long. Please don't forget to like and share this video. Do all the likes and all the shares and all the things. All right. So I'm a single mom. I have 4 children. My oldest is 33. My next oldest is 27. Alana just turned 20 and Jackson is 14. So the other 3 will have birthdays this year. So my older 2 children, Trandon and Shamika's older than Trandon. Hey ma'am, how are you? Did not go off to college right after graduation because I got some kind of like hate mail about why me as an educator is not encouraging Alana to go to college and letting her work at a fast food place. So just to answer that question, and then I'm going to go into how I prepare my children. And I think before I start, let me just preface this. I'm not your children's parent, so I can't tell you how to parent your children. I'm my children's parent, and they are used to me, and they're used to how it is around here. So I'm parenting my children based on what I know to be true and right. And so that's what I'm sharing with you. If you are not here for that conversation, no worries. Just chime out. It's all good. Won't hurt my feelings because I'm going to still do the video. Okay. So my 2 older children, while they were smart enough to go off to college, chose not to go to college. They wanted to serve the military. Shamika actually wanted to escape from mom. She was trying to do anything she could to get away from me. And she was very, very smart. So she actually took the ASVAB. She scored a very high score on the ASVAB and went into the Navy as a nuclear engineer. She went into the Navy. We don't have anybody in our family that I recall, one cousin that was in the military, but she wanted to go just honestly to really get away from me. So she went into the military as, hey ma'am, as a nuclear engineer. That was her job. My son, Trandon, always knew he wanted to go into the military. He went into the Marines as I won't tell you what his job was, but he went into the Marines and he did all of his time. He re-upped once and then he got injured. And so he was medically discharged. He should have done 20 years. If he would have finished out, he would have retired from the military at 38 years old. He would have got a full benefit pension. And then he would have been able to start a second career, but he got hurt in just a freak accident. It wasn't even anything to do with his job. He just got in an accident. And so he then medically discharged. Now, when my children turn 17 years old, 17, or they become a senior in high school. So whichever comes first, Jackson will probably become a senior in high school before he turns 17. Because he is a year, hey ma'am, hey little lady, because he is a year ahead in school and his birthday is late. So he will be 15 like May 1st, April 30th. So like May 1st, and then he'll go into 11th grade at 15, right? Because school will start in August. He will just have turned 15 April 30th. So he will be a senior when he's 16. So whichever one comes first. Now, Jackson does not have the luxury of choosing the military. Jackson probably would make a very good officer. Trandon would have made a very good officer. He was just below officership, but he got hurt. Jackson is He's better. He's back at school, but there's still some residualness that has not typically been there before, especially after a round of antibiotics and a round of steroids. I'm almost thinking he needs a second round of steroids just to kind of clear up. But he's not wet. He's not chunky. He's not, when I say wet, his lungs don't sound junky, right? When you've been an asthma mom for his life, you know what I'm talking about. So he doesn't sound wet in his chest. It's very dry coughing, but he still has some residuals. But he's better. Praise God. Oh. So he does not have the luxury of even attempting military. He is medically unfit for the military because of the asthma. So that is not even something that I can do with him. We can't even use that. My other children went to the military, then used their GI Bill for school. Sister has never had any thoughts about going to the military at all. Neither does she want to go to college at the moment. So for my children, my oldest and my oldest two children actually went to college when they were like 24. Trandon was actually 20. He's 27 now. So 24 and 27. They didn't go right after high school, which for some people, that's just it's not their journey. It's not their jam. You know what I'm saying? So my question always comes in, why would I even, because I don't pay for college. College is not something I pay for. If you pay for it, praise the Lord, hallelujah. But they're not going to go out there and have a good time on my dime and then not bring me home a degree. It's just not going to happen. But if that's what you want to do, you do it. So why would you encourage your child to go out and spend thousands of dollars for an education they do not want at the moment, and they have no clue what they want to do? So I get a lot of flack because they're like, well, you're an educator. You should be pushing education. I do push education when education makes sense, when that's the next thing that makes sense in their life. For Jackson, Jackson's already talking about college, and he's just in 10th grade. Sister is so not here for it right now. She will eventually come around to it. But when she comes around to it, she will have the finances to put herself through school. She'll be able to get more scholarship money because she'll be an older adult student, which they give scholarship money for those types of students. Ask me how I know. Shakema went to all of her school, including her doctorate's program, on somebody else's dime. Shakema has not paid a dime for school. That has been somebody else's. She has gotten scholarship after scholarship, fellowship, this type of ship. She's gotten them all. So we know that. So for sister, it doesn't make sense to send her to school right now because her brain ain't there. Now, the one thing that people, I don't understand, I don't know how, well, they don't know us, right? They just see us on the YouTube or whatever and think they know something about us. You really don't. And we do our best to share, right? But Alana loves to go to work. She loves to work. It is her thing. She don't want to be absent a day. She has only missed one day. She's coming up on her 1-year anniversary at this new place where she works in a few days. And in that time, very good. You do it. You keep on little by little every day. All makes a difference. And that whole time, she's only missed one day of work. So she loves to go to work. When she's not at work, she's sitting in this house going, it's 9 o'clock. This is what we will be doing right now. And it's 10:30. Oh, this is person. Oh, mom, and Mr. So-and-so came in. Oh, yeah, mom, the golf cart guys are here. You know, she knows the people. She enjoys what she does, and she's very good at it. So it makes good sense for me to continue to massage her as far as work, have a good work ethic, do your best, progress, make upgrades, whatever you need to do. She's trying to figure out how to get a second job because she's making some changes in her life and she wants to move along quickly. She does not have children. None of my children have children. Shakema will be 34, Trandon will be 28, Alana's 20, and Jackson will be 15. None of my children have children because I'm not keeping your kids. So if you have them, you got them, because I'm not. So I had to make that clear up front with the older ones. At 16, we had a very serious conversation. If you bring a baby home, you go into his house. You cannot live here. How you going to put your kid out? It's my kid. It's my house. I'm not staying up all night having bags up underneath here. No, ma'am, I'm not. If that's what you want to do, you do it. But I would say that conversation was very successful. I don't have grandchildren. My son is not paying child support to somebody else that's not his wife. And Shamika's not dealing with somebody else that has to have 50% rights of her children, and she's getting ready to get married to a person. So I just think, because a lot of people don't think I've done it right. I just feel like I might have done something okay. So now, when my children turn 17 or they become a senior in high school, I sit them down and I say to them, where do you plan to live after graduation? Now, sister does not want to move out. My older two children were ready to go on and do their life and all the things. Alana is perfectly fine to live here. She's perfectly welcome to live here. She does not pay rent. She don't pay bills. She don't pay anything. She pays herself. Whatever she makes, she tithes, she saves, she does with her money. I pay all the expenses here. I pay her health insurance, life insurance, eyes, teeth. I pay all of that. I am perfectly happy to continue to pay that. We get along famously. Now, my other children, of course, they went to the military, but when Shamika came home, she was in between places, and I don't do in between places. You got 6 weeks to get it together, sister. Now tell me what your plan is. And so I sit down with each of my children and I say, tell me where it is that you're trying to live after this 6 weeks is up, because you got to go. And so they pick their place, and then we sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper, and I map out for them every single bill they're going to have. Now, you understand you're going to have rent, light bill, water bill, trash, cable, internet, phone, car insurance, all the things, right? I keep their insurance, their health insurance, until they're 26. At 26 in North Carolina, they roll off. That's not my doing. That is the state's doing. They just roll off, but I keep all of that. So then they have to sit down and they have to do their budget. They have to be responsible for their money. So even just looking at the place that they want to live, as far as an apartment, a house, whatever they're going to do. So I say to them, after we've sat down and we've mapped out all of those expenses for the month, this is just for the month now. What job are you going to get that is going to help you afford to live here? Because you got to eat, you got to have gas, you got to have your car insurance, and we pay car insurance by the 6 months. They're not allowed to pay it by the month. They have to pay it by the 6 months. We're going to do one big chunk. They learn that here when they live here. So it's no use in doing something different outside of here. So we're going to do one big old chunk, and then you're not worried about it for the next 6 months, right? So I put things into place here. And I know a lot of people think you just so controlling. You just control your children. What I'm trying to do, and what I have done, I still feel successfully, is teach them how to not be under stress, under pressure, always worried about money, never knowing where it's going to come from, spending more than they have, not making enough. So then I sit down with them and I say, okay, how many hours per week multiplied by 4.3 weeks a month are you going to need in order to be able to afford your lifestyle? So then we do something that's called back mapping, right? So this is what this is the lifestyle you planning to have. So now you got to go backwards and tell me where you're going to work, because McDonald's don't pay that much. Well, back then they didn't. I think they pay a little more now. So if you work at McDonald's, how many hours are you going to need to have? Now, sister, she don't be playing with her hours. If her hours get below 35, she feeling away, because Alana's about her money. So you're going to need to work how many hours? She's like, oh, mom, I can't take no days off. I can't be off for no days. So, and then we're always looking like, can you get some extra shifts? Is there somebody's shift that's put up that you can go and grab? Because you're going to need to make this much money every single week for you to be able to maintain your household. You cannot come here and shop at my house. I'm not the grocery store. So you're going to have to go to the grocery store yourself. What's your budget for that? So that has been successful for me. And then they have to maintain that for a year. They have to maintain that for a year. Now with my children, which is another thing y'all probably not going to like, but that's okay. You're okay. You don't have to like it. When they're in school, they can only work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Those are the only days. And I don't even like a Thursday. They can work Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays because school is their job during the week. School is your job, the best grades you get in school. And then what's going to happen from there is you're going to be able to get scholarships. Scholarships will help you get into colleges or help you pay for colleges that you get into, because I'm not paying for any of that. And so we work out that we sit and we talk. Then they get paid. Now, Trandon, my oldest son, just worked because he liked to work. Every payday, I would say to Trandon, did you get your paycheck today? He would be like, oh, no, I didn't. Baby, you go to work to get your paycheck. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right, Mom. Alana's the same way. Now that she's more mindful of money, she realizes, but she just likes her job. She likes the people she works with. She likes the people who comes into her place of business, and she just enjoys that. But with that paycheck, then we sit down and we allocate those funds. This is with Mom sitting with them at the computer with the budget sheet, and they're going through line by line how much they would have to pay for all of the things. Now, I think somebody was saying there's a, and I've seen her on TikTok, I think, a teacher, she's third grade, North Carolina teacher, I think, that has her students pay, they have to pay their bills for the month. And so she takes up their money, right? So why is it okay for a third grade teacher to do it? But when I do it with my kids, people have issues. Now, I do not like my children to work. It's not my favorite. I would much, much rather them just do school. But because Friday night is one of those nights, see, I had to trick my children. I had to trick them, y'all. You got to use these strategies. You got to ask the Lord to give you a supernatural strategy on how to trick your kids. Because I was not trying to do Friday night football. No, we can't go to baseball games, basketball games. Nobody is trying to be all sneaking around with boyfriends and different types of other, none of that. So they worked on Friday night, because Friday night was usually ball game night. And then they could work on Saturday, and then they could work on Sunday, but they had to work Sunday evening after church. So you can't work from 9 to 1, but you can come in at 1 because we got church. That's our priority. That's what we're doing. And so I don't typically like for them to work during the school year. Sister only worked weekends, but she was homeschooled. And then when she graduated from homeschool, she started working during the week. That was the very first time when she started working during the week. And then what I do is I have them off the top. This is off the top. Shakema, you can't control their paycheck. They live in this house. I can control anything I want. They have to tithe. When you live in this house, we're not living under a curse for you. Everybody in this house tithes. They have grown up their whole life. They already know that's a thing. It is a thing. They see the blessing, so we don't play with it. 40 to 50% of every paycheck must go into savings. Must go into savings. Alana has been working on her 401k since she turned 16 years old. So she's planning for retirement, and she's 20. She's been putting into 401k for 4 years now. Some adults have never put anything into 401 nothing. They don't have anything in any K. So here we are. So I make them keep that budget sheet so that we're able to go back and track our expenses. For Alana, because she still lives at home and she does not pay any expenses, she should be banking quite a lot of money. Now, she did pay for her car, all cash. Her dad gave her a little bit. We gave her a little. I gave a little bit. She had been saving up. So now she's saving, and she said, well, Mom, what is it? Oh, very good. Yeah, that's, see, in Jackson, he is in sports. Jackson is. And sister was into dance when she was in school. So that was, and then they both did taekwondo. So that is what they did. And so we were, and I have run the road, honey. They were on the travel team, and we was this place, that place, and all the places. So with those younger kids, it was like that. With my older children, they were so busy trying to get away from Mom. They chose to work. Really, Shamika, not even Trandon. And then, so I sit with them and we track out all of this money that they're making and saving. And so she's like, well, Mom, what am I supposed to do with the money now? I said, well, now you're saving up so that you can buy a house, because she doesn't have to rent an apartment. Apartment rent is more than I pay for my mortgage. And I live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-car garage home on 0.33 acres of land, which I have a lot of land. Y'all seen my yard. So if she can save up enough money for a down payment on a home and she knows where she wants to live, why would we not work now towards saving towards a home? Because rent, absolutely, best friend Rachel, rent is crazy. You may as well, if you can afford to get a home. I know interest rates are a little bit high now, but when you have that 20% down payment, which she will have by the time she moves out, she'll be able to kind of get those interest rates, and we hope interest rates get their right mind real soon. But she'll be able to purchase a home, or at least put her 20% down, and not have to worry about PMI and all this other stuff, because she will have saved. And she'll be 22, 23 years old, purchasing her first home. No debt, no educational debt, no anything. And then if she wants to go back to school, she can always do community college to start, and then she can get some scholarships there, and then transfer program, no problem, right? So, hey y'all, hey everybody, good to see everybody. So that's what we're trying to do. So there's a process in how you prepare them to move out, right? When they get their first job, depending on who works and whatever the case is, I no longer pay for anything, nothing. You work, you want it, you buy it. Here's why. And most people say, well, that's so mean. They don't value my money. They will value their money. As long as I'm just like the ATM machine and I'm giving it out here and there and everywhere, they're like, oh, because Jackson was like, Mom, can't you use your card? But baby, you got to have money on the card. When he was little, he was like, can you use your card? I'm not going to be using my card for everything. There has to be money there. But when they get a job, I don't pay for anything else. I don't pay for underoos. I don't pay for socks. I don't pay for nothing. Here's why I do that. And I know, again, most people don't understand, but remember, you get to raise your children the way you see fit, and I get to raise my children the way I see fit, and none of my children are hurt. We all fat and happy over here. We doing real good. When they have to take care of their necessaries, right? When they have to get their underoos and they have to get all their stuff, they're less frivolous with their money. They're not just going out and buying this and all of this and everything. Alana's been getting her hair done, and it costs her quite a little bit every time she goes to get her hair done. And she was going like every 2 weeks. Y'all, this is why I have short hair. So she was like, oh, mother, mom. And it took a while for her to get to this. She's like, oh, mother, mom, I think, she's like, I think I could stretch this hairdo out for a few more weeks. Good. I'm glad you came to that conclusion. It's your money to spend, but you can get a nice protective style that will last you a good time. Put your little bonnet on, and you don't have to keep paying every 2 weeks. Maybe you stretch it out to 4 weeks. You might get a little 6 weeks out of it. I'm not real sure, but however you do it, you're either going to have more money or you're going to have less money. Because if I just shell it out for every single thing they want, they'll get their money in hand and they'll be frivolous with it. What happens then is, when they become adults, they're going to be so used to mom buying everything, they will not know how to manage their own little coins. This is all I have. Whatever you have in your hand, whatever God puts in your hands, this is what you have to work with. And now you have to make good decisions. You have to make good decisions. And that's perfectly fine. When both of them were on child support, I would get them things, but I like to definitely make sure that they know how to handle their money. Jackson, I still get all of Jackson's things. That every now and then I'll get something for sister. I'll just put it in my card or whatever the case is, because these are different children than my older 2 children. Our relationships are so very much different. All of us now really work well together as a family unit. But it was just so much different for them. I don't buy body wash. I don't buy hair products. I don't buy deodorant. I don't buy feminine items. I buy nothing. Shakema, that's so mean. No, it's not. It's teaching my children responsibility. Alana's 20 years old. I shouldn't be buying. If she don't know that every 28th day she needs some type of feminine items, then I have not done my job to raise her as a good woman would. This is going to happen. This is what we need. We've been doing this a long time, so she should now be there. Now, when she gets her own house and she takes up residence with her own place, we do not believe in roommates. Here's another thing. There are no roommates. Shamika was a grown, full adult woman. Mom, I need a roommate. No, ma'am, you do not. Here's why. Because that roommate that pays half the expenses gets to do whatever they want to do with their half of the house. That means they can have whoever over they want to, whatever time they want to. You can't come out your bathroom in your bathrobe because you don't know who walking around up in here. They want to party to them like it's 1999 and you got to go to work for a presentation in the morning. Mm-mm. And then if they want to, they can just jump and skip and bail on you. Then you're stuck holding the bag. So what I tell my children is, what can you do? Let's sit down and come up with what we can do on our own so we don't have to rely on a roommate, because they're not always going to live here. Your roommate may not always pay rent. They may not manage their money like you manage your money. And now you stuck and left holding the bag. My son had a roommate. Bad idea. Shamika had about 3 or 4 roommates. Bad idea. But they had to understand that. Now that she's getting ready to get married, she understands, okay, we're going to have this home. We have all of these expenses, blah, blah, blah. And he's very good managing his money. She's very good managing her money. They're going to be okay. They have very good jobs. And, she's in school, but he has a very good job and all of that. So they're going to do well. It was hard lessons in the beginning. And I know, and you don't have to, I think most people who do it differently think that I'm mean about it. I'm not mean about it. I just say, okay, lovely, let's have a sit down chit chat. Bring your paper, bring your pencil. Let's sit down and talk about things. And we just have conversations about everything dealing with their finances. And they are responsible for filling out that sheet every single week. They need to know, where did your money go this week? Can you have a credit card? No, you may not. You have a debit card. It works the same. If money's there, spend it. If money is not, don't spend it. It took me until I was 47 years old to get another credit card after I got out of credit card debt, because I travel for ministry purposes and it's just easier to do it on the credit card. I don't know why. I have the money in the bank account. Just take the debit card. They don't want all that. So I got the credit card. I'm sitting here with a thing right now waiting for it to pass so I can go right into my checking account. No, it's still pending, waiting for it to come off so I can make a payment immediately. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I try to say. Thank you, Bev. I'm not, because I don't come off mean to my children, but people who hear it and they're not used to it, they go, oh my gosh, she's so mean. She don't let her kids do anything. My children will be able to do a lot of things. I did. I'm telling you. And I don't want my children. Can I stop them from bumping their head or stubbing their toe or, running into problems? I cannot. But they can look at where we have come together as a family and say, you know what? I really don't think I saw mama go through that. I don't think that's the right idea. Or at best, what we do as a family, which I really appreciate now, is all of us will have a family meeting. If the little kids, which I still call Alana the little kids because she's younger than the other two, if the little kids want to make a money decision, then we'll call a family meeting with the older kids and everybody gets to have an opinion. Everybody gets to chat it out and we just talk about it. And then they have to make a decision. Okay, do you want to do it or do you not want to do it? What's the pros? What's the cons? Have we helped you make your decision? Do you feel like you need more resources? What else can we answer for you? So everybody gets to jump in and have that conversation. And I think they just, they attribute stern. It's like you can't be stern in 2024, right? That's just against the rules. Well, who said so? When I was growing up, my grandparents didn't ask me anything. It was what it was, and that was the end of that. So, and see that if you have it, like Miss Rose said, we were blessed to freely give to our children. All three of them are responsible adults. If I had it to do for my children, I so would. I would definitely do a little more. And I can at this point. No. I understand exactly what you meant. Don't worry. I understand exactly what you meant. But a lot of people misread it, and they won't understand, oh, she's not being mean. She's just helping her kids. Or again, their children have, or I don't know, it's hard because you always looking at somebody else's household through your experience, right? I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm looking at your household through my experience. Well, my mama wouldn't have done it like that. My mama would have done it like this. And so they try to put that off on you, not understanding that what we have going on works for this dynamic of family, right? So there were many, many days when my older children, when they got on their good feet, were having to help me with the little kids because there was something that I didn't have, or dad might have not been paying child support at the time, and so I just needed some extra help. But when I got to the point where I was able to not have that anymore, I was very thankful, because now I could teach my children, you don't always have to reach out to somebody else for a handout or to get you out of problems, right? Because there may not be somebody there to get you out of problems. So I was very thankful and am thankful. I have lots of just very good friends that encourage my children, that help us, that pour into them as well. If Jackson needs financials, I'm not going to just give him money. I'm going to see if there's a job he can do. When Shamika needed somebody to keep her dog, because she went out to California, she took him to California. But then what ended up happening was, she was in school so much that the dog was just sitting in the crate all day, right? She didn't want to leave him out of the crate because he can't handle it. So she flew him back out here to us. And she's like, Mom, can you keep him? I said, well, talk to Jackson, because I don't walk dogs. I don't scoop the poop. I pay for food and vet visits. That's what I do. Your responsibility is everything else. So I said, talk to Jackson. And he was like, well, for a small fee every month, I'll do all the things. And she paid. They came up to their agreement, what they was going to do. She kind of got the better end of that stick, but whatever. So, and that is so good, Miss Rose. I really do like that. Now I'm able to freely do that with my children as well. And so I'm thankful that I have that opportunity. I wish I had it so much farther back, but I didn't. But Jackson was able to keep Acro for 14 months, and whatever they agreed on, she paid him, and that money all went to his savings account. He wanted to buy a PlayStation 5. Sir, that is not on God's plan for you. Not this week. I'm afraid it's not going to happen. And he didn't get the PlayStation 5. Most people are like, you should let him have a PlayStation 5. He doesn't play video games. Why would he need the PlayStation 5? It's perfectly fine. He's not lost anything, missed anything. Nothing has happened. He is very good. So I'm just trying to teach those practical skills so that they know how to manage, right? Now, when they turn 18, graduate, and they decide, because the law says at 18, they're grown, they can go if they want to go. Okay, if you want to go, now how we moving? Okay, you got your first month, your last month, your security deposit. You might have a deposit for some lights or whatever the case is. Do you have all your coins, ducks in a row? Let's go ahead and get everything in your name so that we can do all of that. I don't put my name on anything. I don't co-lease, co-sign. I don't do any of that. Child, listen, okay? I think, I wish my mom had done anything with me in regards to anything. She never did anything with me. Nothing. She wasn't here when I started my cycle. She wasn't here when I had my kids. She missed it all. And I've had to learn this. And so I don't want my children to have those hard lessons, as some of you have said, those hard lessons, and they're going to come up short. I'd much rather now at this point, like I said, Alana said she put me on a timeline. She like, Mom, about 2 or 3 years, I'm gonna be out of here. I might be out of here before then, but she already done put me on her timeline. But she has some goals and some dreams. We've been talking about some housing for her and what she can do moving forward. And she's very excited about it. She told me the other day, she said, Mom, I need another job because I got to save up my money. She is very excited about what's going to happen next for her. And so with that being said, she already knows, okay, I got to pay this. I got to have this. And so it's just preparing them when they turn that age and they're ready to go. I want them to go prepared, equipped, and financially stable as best they can. And I'm not talking about just enough to make rent. I'm talking about we've paid rent up for a month, 2, 3, whatever, or we've bought a home that nobody can tell us we can't stay in. And we're solvent enough that we're not living paycheck to paycheck. And so that is one of the things that you have to think about when you have children is how do I get my children to the point where they're not living paycheck to paycheck over credit cards, over their heads, car payments maxed out to $600 and $700, $800. You riding around an $800 car payment. I need to see the inside of the car. It better always have new car smell, period. It better not never wear off. But this is sadly what some people are doing. We have 2 paid off vehicles, and we're saving up enough for either Jackson will take money to college or he will buy a vehicle. He's planning on going away to college, so he's going to need a vehicle. So that's what we're saving for. We got another, he has 2 more years of school. And so that's where we are right now. He does not have to have a job. That's not necessary. But if he chooses a job, summer months will be when he can work because Jackson's in all honors classes and he needs to focus on his schooling. So that's my priority with Jackson. Doesn't mean I prioritize my other children differently. Again, sister's not at the school situation right now. She will get there eventually. But we're not going to waste funds. We're not going to waste resources, effort, and energy to get her into school when that's not where her mind is right now. Couple more years down the line, she'll be ready to go to school and get her degree in whatever it is that she wants to study. And she will not have missed anything because what I think when you go to school older, I don't know how many of y'all remember A Different World, but Jaleesa wasn't playing. She wasn't out there in the streets with them, the niece and all them other people. They going to the pit and all this other stuff. Then Jaleesa was getting her work. She knew she was older. She's like, man, I gotta get my school together, right? So while sister may not live on campus, it's not bad, but she will not be tempted to want to go and do all of those young teenagery things that could get you put out of school if you don't keep up on your academics. So that's how I prepare my children for it. I hope that it's been helpful for them. I know that they have said it's been helpful. And I'm just trying my very best for them. Again, we enjoy one another. We enjoy the conversations. We enjoy the family meetings. We enjoy, sitting talking about vacations and who's paying what. And hey, we're going to take a family cruise and how much you paying. Everybody is talking about these coins because we recognize the value of money now. We didn't always, and especially when it's my money, they don't recognize that value. But I'm telling you, when you set your children up for success, it's going to pay off dividends in the end. It may seem a little rough right now. It was hard to get the kids on the budget sheets. They didn't want to do it in the very beginning. But now Alana live by the budget sheet. She don't play with her money. If she already know what her bills are when they got to go out. She does all of those things. Well, thank you so much for following us on YouTube. We are very happy. We're trying to get our life together, y'all. We trying. I'm trying my best. The ministry it consumes my mind, and my videos are sometimes a little lacking these days, but I'm going to do my best to get out there. Seems like y'all only like cooking videos anyway, so I'm going to just start cooking some stuff and hope for the best. But anywho, if you have questions about how to get your children on the right path, let me know. Leave me a comment. I'll be happy to share the best I know how to share. I thought I would get the kids in to chat a little bit, but they're doing stuff. They out there. They don't want to come in here and chat with me. But it has worked out so far. 4 children on their own, doing all the things. And I'm just thankful to God for allowing me to see them have success. Because, like I said, my mom was not there. She did not, there was no money. It was always spent on foolish stuff. Bills was behind. We was getting kicked out of play. It just wasn't there. And so I'm just excited for my children on this journey and your children. If you choose to, borrow anything, or even if you just sit back and rethink what you're doing, hey, if it's working, keep doing that. And if it's not, then maybe we should do something different. Anywho, y'all, I'm gonna go. I think Jackson feels much better. He cooking again. He ain't cooked in 2 weeks, so he cooking something. I smell the aromas of things, so I'm gonna go in here and try to eat something before I have other things to do. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now. Bye, y'all. Like, share, do all the things. Thumbs up. That helps us in the algorithm. We appreciate it.